Welcome back to Speak Daily English Dialogues. I'm Mike.
And I'm Vicki. We're so glad you could join us today.
Today we're tackling a topic that I think every single language learner has experienced. It's that moment, you know the one. You're in a conversation, you know what you want to say, the words are right there on the tip of your tongue, and then nothing. Your mind just goes completely blank.
Oh, the dreaded mental block. It's a universal feeling, isn't it? It can be so frustrating and frankly a bit embarrassing. You feel like you've forgotten every word of English you've ever learned.
Exactly. But the good news is, it's not just you, and it's not a sign that you're failing. It's a very common, very normal part of the learning process. So today, we're going to break down why it happens and, more importantly, share some powerful strategies to push right through it.
Right, let's start with the why. Understanding the cause is the first step to finding a solution. I think there are two main culprits behind the mental block. The first one is something called cognitive overload.
Cognitive overload. That sounds intense. What does it mean in the context of speaking English?
Well, think about everything your brain is trying to do at once when you speak a foreign language. You're trying to remember the right vocabulary, construct a sentence with correct grammar, get the pronunciation right, understand what the other person is saying, and think about your response all in real time.
Wow, yeah. When you list it all out, it's a lot. It's like juggling 5 balls at once.
Precisely. Your brain's working memory can only handle so much. When it gets overloaded with all these tasks, it can essentially short-circuit. It's not that you don't know the words, it's that your brain is too busy to access them.
That makes so much sense. So it's a traffic jam in your brain. And I bet the second culprit makes that traffic jam even worse. Anxiety.
You've hit the nail on the head, Mike. Performance anxiety is huge. The fear of making a mistake, of being judged, of sounding stupid. That pressure adds another heavy layer onto the cognitive load.
It triggers your fight or flight response, right? And your brain isn't exactly optimized for complex linguistic tasks when it thinks it's in danger.
Exactly. It wants to either run away from the conversation or just freeze. So you have this vicious cycle. You're worried about freezing, which makes you anxious, and that anxiety is what actually causes you to freeze.
Okay, so we've established it's a mix of a brain traffic jam and good old-fashioned fear. So how do we clear the jam and calm the nerves? Let's get into the practical strategies. Vicki, what's your first tip?
My first tip is to have a toolbox of filler phrases ready to go.
Filler phrases? You mean like and
Those are the most basic ones, but we can do better. Think of phrases like, well, let me see, or that's an interesting question, or, even something simple like repeating part of the question back. What do I think about climate change? Well,
I see. So it's not just about filling silence. It's a strategic pause.
yes, it does two crucial things. First, it buys your brain a few precious seconds to search for the words without the pressure of awkward silence. Second, it makes you sound more natural and fluent. Native speakers use these phrases all the time.
That's a great point. It signals to the other person that you're thinking, not that you're stuck. Okay, my first strategy is all about environment. Practice in low-pressure situations. Exactly. And it's not just for buying time. It also helps manage the conversation flow. Instead of an abrupt silence, you're signaling that you're engaged and processing. It makes the conversation feel much more collaborative.
What does a low-pressure situation look like? That's a key point. It also gives the listener a cue that you're not finished speaking. Some other useful ones are, how should I put this? Let me think for a moment. Or even a simple, hold on, it's on the tip of my tongue. Practice them so they feel natural.
It looks like you, alone in your room. Seriously, talk to yourself. Narrate what you're doing. Okay, now I am making a cup of coffee. I'm getting the mug from the cupboard. It sounds silly, but there is zero pressure. No one is listening, no one is judging.
Right, you're just getting your mouth used to forming the words and sentences.
Exactly. You can also talk to your pet or a plant, or use language apps that have speaking exercises. The goal is to build speaking mileage without the performance anxiety. Then, when you're in a real conversation, it feels less intimidating because you've already been practicing.
That's brilliant. Building on that, my next strategy is about mindset. Focus on the message, not on perfect grammar.
Oh, this is a big one for perfectionists.
It is. We often get so caught up in trying to use the perfect tense or the exact right preposition that we lose our train of thought completely. The primary goal of language is communication. If the other person understands your meaning, you have succeeded.
So saying yesterday I go to store instead of yesterday I went to the store is okay?
In the moment of conversation, absolutely. The message is clear. You can work on grammar later in your studies, but in a live conversation, prioritize getting your idea across. Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. Simplify your sentences if you need to.
Love that. Okay, here's a technique that I personally found incredibly helpful. Shadowing.
Can you explain what shadowing is?
Sure. You take a short audio clip of a native speaker, maybe from a podcast like this one, or a movie, and you listen to it. Then you play it again and try to speak along with the recording, matching their speed, rhythm, and intonation as closely as possible.
So you're essentially mimicking them in real time.
Exactly. It feels weird at first, but it's like a workout for your mouth and your brain. It builds muscle memory for English sounds and sentence structures. It helps reduce cognitive load because you're not thinking of what to say. You're just focused on how to say it.
That's a fantastic active way to practice. My final practical tip is about vocabulary. Use thematic vocabulary building.
Meaning, instead of learning random lists of words, you focus on a topic.
Precisely. For example, one week you could focus on vocabulary for ordering food in a restaurant. You'd learn words like appetizer, main course, bill, tip, and phrases like could I have or I'd like to book a table.
Right. So when you're in that specific situation, your brain doesn't have to search through its entire English dictionary. It just goes to the restaurant folder.
Yes, it makes the vocabulary much more accessible when you need it. You can create thematic lists for your hobbies, your job, travel, anything that's relevant to your life. This prepares you for conversations you're actually likely to have.
Those are 5 really solid, actionable strategies. We have filler phrases, low-pressure practice, focusing on message over perfection, shadowing, and thematic vocabulary building. But I feel like there's one more piece to the puzzle, and it's less of a technique and more of a mindset shift.
I agree completely. You have to learn to embrace mistakes. They are not failures, they are proof that you are trying. Every conversation you have, every mistake you make is a step forward.
Absolutely. And related to that is my final piece of advice. Use humor. If you say something silly or your mind goes blank, just laugh about it. Say something like, "Oops, my brain just took a vacation," or "The English words have escaped me."
That's wonderful advice. It instantly breaks the tension, both for you and the person you're speaking with. It shows confidence even when you're struggling and makes you much more approachable.
It really does. Being kind to yourself is the most important strategy of all. So, to recap for everyone listening, when you feel that mental block, remember that it's normal. It's your brain working hard and sometimes getting a little anxious.
Use filler phrases to give yourself a moment, practice in safe environments to build confidence, and always prioritize communication over perfection.
Try shadowing to improve your flow and build vocabulary around themes you'll actually use. And most of all, be patient, embrace your mistakes, and don't be afraid to laugh.
Well said, Mike. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in to Speak Daily English Dialogues.
We hope these tips help you break through those blocks and speak with more confidence. Until next time, happy learning.